correct. The increasing trend for selling new homes on a leasehold basis without the freehold. It means the buyer's lease can be sold on, and the new owners would be able to change the details and the costs. Well, in 2015, almost 9,000 leaseholds were created, and in fact, over the last 10 years, around 45,000 leasehold houses have been sold. Now there are calls for the law to be changed, as Mosmi Bakshi reports.
When is your home not your home? It's a riddle the answer to which Louise O'Riordan knows only too well. She's one of a growing number of people who bought a leasehold house from a developer. She thought she'd be paying an affordable amount of ground rent to the freehold owner, but since buying the house, it's now emerged that freehold could be sold on, with ground rent potentially rising.
I feel really tricked, and I feel stupid that I didn't spot it. I feel stupid that I believed what a salesperson was telling me and that I didn't investigate it further. But I did trust that what they were telling me was correct, because obviously this is the biggest purchase you ever make.
The practice of reselling a freehold is perfectly legal, so how does it work? As the leaseholder, Louise owns the property for the length of the lease, in her case 499 years. The freeholder owns the ground outright. Louise says she was led to believe the freehold would never be sold on because it was owned by a local college. In fact, it's owned by Linden Homes, and Louise isn't the only one who claims they've been misled.
That's what my understanding is. You just pay £200 for 499 years per year, and you don't have to worry anything else beyond that. And I was told that you just have to pay to the college.
Louise has now taken her concerns to the local MP.
It seems to me that the developers are simply trying to make extra money by selling the house and then also collecting in ground rent and selling the leasehold back to the people they've already sold the house to. I think that's an unfair and wrong practice.
Louise claims the developers duped her, but in a statement the company told us, Linden Homes has been clear and consistent in its responses to Mrs O'Riordan and finds her claims unfounded and misleading. The company goes on to say it will offer the leasehold owners of the houses the opportunity to purchase their freeholds, but that sum could run into the tens of thousands. It was supposed to be a dream home, a first home for Louise and her family. That dream is rapidly turning into a nightmare. Mosmi Bakshi, BBC Look East, Dunstable.
Well, there's a group that campaigns for leaseholders in the same situation as Louise. Sebastian O'Kelly from the Leasehold Knowledge Partnership will join me to explain why developers do it.
To make more money. If you sell a house leasehold rather than freehold, you are creating an investment asset class at the expense of the person who bought it in perpetuity. It pays a ground rent. Sometimes the ground rent rises with retail price inflation. Sometimes it doubles every 10 years. That has a significant impact on the value of the property, but it's an excellent investment if you happen to own the freehold.
So what do you mean by asset classes?
I mean the freehold. What is ground rent actually for? A lot of these people are paying £295 a year for ground rent. What service do they receive for that? Nothing at all. Nobody can explain what ground rent is for. It is nothing except for an artificial construct which produces a significant revenue for the murky investors who bought up the freehold.
So what would you like to see happen then?
Well, I'd like to stop building leasehold tenure full stop, including for flats. We could go on to common hold system, which prevails in the rest of the world, including Scotland and Ireland, and North America and Australasia, so other jurisdictions which had a significant influence from English law. There's really no reason to perpetuate leasehold tenure. Common forms of common hold exist everywhere else.
But for people looking to buy now then, what's your advice to them? What should they be watching out for?
Right, my advice is this. If you are offered a leasehold house, you tell the developer straight off that you're very interested in buying it, but you want to buy the freehold now. The developer will say, oh no, but you can buy the freehold in 2 years' time. You cut through that nonsense and say, you can sell the freehold perfectly easily to me now and you should do so. And if they don't, walk.
Now, for the last few nights, landmarks in Cambridge have been lit up with a dazzling display to encourage passers-by to see them in a different light. The Illuminate Festival highlights the city's place at the forefront of technological research while celebrating its heritage. Louise Hubble went down to have a look.